What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the horror show. Merry Christmas Eve. I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Marcia.
Happy Festivus. I'm Jaime and Fuego.
Oh, you gotta be different every time. What's up, guys? We are here to talk about Black Xmas, the 2006 remake of Black Christmas from 1974. So here's the thing about this movie. We're going to do this review like we normally do, and we'll talk about our overall thoughts, then the story, the acting, the effects. Couple of things about this movie, okay? First off, before this round of reviews, this is the only one of the properties that I had seen.
Same.
Right?
Same.
Yeah. We watched 2019 and it's awful. Never watch it after watching these two.
Please worry about it.
Watch it for a laugh and for a film.
You won't even find it funny. But this was the one that I had seen, and every time it was brought up with such vitriol, I always kind of just shrank into the shadows because I was like, I remember kind of liking this one. Like, I don't remember why, but I kind of remember liking it. So I was interested to rewatch this, and I gotta say, guys, my overall thoughts upon the rewatch, I still like it the most out of all three of them. Like, I don't want to do a ranking in the middle of a review, but for me, it's 2006, 1974, 2019.
Somebody wouldn't rank 3 movies, would they?
Who would take time to do a 3-movie ranking? God, what a waste of viewers' time.
We love you, man.
Nonetheless, I gotta say, yeah, this I really enjoyed. It is gory to the max.
Yeah, so much more so.
The one thing I didn't like was the painting job on him. The jaundice look.
It was almost like
that yellow bastard.
Yellow bastard from Sin City. That's what I was thinking.
You're right.
Yeah, totally.
So, but overall, gory as hell, enjoyable, not nearly as nuanced as the 1974, and not nearly as developed characters as the 1974, but I still enjoyed this one more. It's just more fun.
No.
Marcia?
I didn't watch the 2019 one, as we kind of established earlier, but I did enjoy this one better than the 1974 one. And I think it has a lot to do with the more meat and potatoes of the storyline, and it got rid of all the extra stuff that didn't really pertain to the actual story and the actual fear behind what was going on in the house. So I appreciated that they cut that down and made a more focus on Billy and on the girls, and just kind of really dug into what the fear aspect is and the horror of this movie, and I really appreciated it a lot more.
Yeah, I'll jump in and say the fact that I actually like the flip-flop of the storytelling from, the girls to the killer, and actually getting some background on that person, because of the fact that in the 1974 film, you never find out who the killer is. You never do. There's never any confirmation.
He gets away.
You think that it's one person, and then you have confirmation as that person is dead at the end, and it is most definitely not. So that's kind of interesting. And in this one, it is clear cut who the killer, possibly plural, without spoiling things. I mean, but you get backstory, you get all this interesting stuff, and I liked the up of the gore factor in this. I liked the eye bits that they did with the extraction.
Lots of that.
And so much, and how that was kind of a thing. And yes, there's foreshadowing of an icicle, and they at least called back to that in the 2019 movie.
Called back to the bag kill, too.
Yes, they did. Yeah, I don't know. I had more fun with this than I did the original one. I felt like the original one was, dare I say, a little more preachy and a little more like, let's explore these situations, which maybe coincides with what Marcia said, in the fact that this was more of a fun horror film as opposed to just trying to lead you into all kinds of other areas of contemplation. So meat and potatoes. It's bone dry. It's like it knows what it wants to be. So
yeah. So let's get into the story. Fuego, you want to hit the story on this one?
Yeah, I can definitely hit the story on this one. So we have once again similar scenario to the original. So this 2006 remake. I keep confusing those dates, unfortunately. But so you get your just callbacks to calls and craziness and harassment and whatnot, and girls getting killed. But the real aspect where this is different is we actually learn about the fact that this was a kid who was born with a rare skin disease, if I remember correctly. Liver disease, yeah, which made his skin appear yellow.
Jaundice.
Yes, exactly. And so
can't just say jaundice, I guess. Not you, them. I mean,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it actually makes it very plain and clear, and not even super early on in the movie who our killer is. The big secret is that there is somebody else working with him, and but I mean, we have everything from nasty what is the term with children and parents and
Munchausen syndrome.
Actually,
weird mom that has sex with her son.
Yeah, that's the term that I'm looking for.
Child abuse.
That's the term you're looking for.
Yeah, that's the term I'm looking for. Yeah.
Oedipus complex.
Oedipus complex, maybe. I mean, I suppose.
Well, I just said Oedipus, and you changed my pronunciation right on camera.
Yeah, there is some gross aspects of that, and that's how we actually get another I don't know, a Joker in the card of this entire situation where you think it's one killer, and that plays in very distinctively with the fact that there is more than one person that is preying upon these girls. The girls are much less developed. We don't really learn as much about, so-and-so is going to Canada, so-and-so is going to see family. They don't develop these girls very much.
No, they're just straight cannon fodder.
They are cannon fodder.
Which is fine.
Which is fine because there's lots of kills in this one.
Yeah. And yet there's a lot of familiar faces. I mean,
weirdly a lot.
I mean, you have the girl from the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. You have Mary Elizabeth Winstead. You have
Buffy.
Dawn from Buffy.
You
have there's so many different...
I was like, Buffy's sister's in it.
Yeah.
Yay!
The girl saucy too, starting to get saucy with her bad self in 2006. You're still too young, Dawn.
The girl from Party of Five.
Yes,
Yeah.
Is that the girl with the black hair? Who was
Yeah.
on there? Yeah.
I forget her name.
Yeah, she was the bitchiest of the bunch, if I remember.
As
right.
she should be.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, there was a lot of familiar faces, and it's well shot. I mean, story wise is where I found the most interest in getting some backstory in this. I know you proclaim it's not a sequel, but it's what a sequel could have been if timelines...
Still fighting this fight.
Timelines were aligned.
It's not a sequel, though.
Because of the fact that...
But it's not a sequel.
Okay.
It's doing its own... It's not doing its own thing.
I'm with the Black
building
Christmas,
its own story.
I am with the Black Christmas 2019 director in saying
why?
that it
Because they're director.
Oh, that's the person to side with.
Because they're the director.
No, I mean, she laid out some points where she was like, it's kind of like a sequel, and I was like...
But it's not.
But it's not, though. Timelines don't match up.
Oh, man, you guys...
He would have been 4 years old.
Nah.
According to the timelines as they were presented in 2006.
He wouldn't have been able to produce a baby and murdered people.
Okay, it's fine. But
Get over
I was
it,
I was actually happy to get some information about the killer. That was it was a cool twist in the original Black Christmas in '74 that we never find out pretty much anything about who this person is or what their motivation is or any of that sort of stuff, and we get all of that in spades in this. And I don't know, I thought it was cool and compelling and actually really gross. So yeah. There you go. Story wise, what did you guys think? Stories.
Marcia?
Stories.
I appreciated the story a lot more, like I said, than I did in the 1974 one. When they did do the backstory and the twistedness.
A lot more on the origin. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the twistedness about the family and why they're so messed up. And then when you got to see him murder his family, that was awesome. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Especially when you go back to the line where it's like, what happened that night? You mean before or after he ate his cookies and drank the milk, and then we saw the scene where he made his Christmas cookies? I was like, damn, that's good. I liked it a lot. Yeah, so I really appreciated that they did a good balance between the past and the present and was able to give you everything you needed to enjoy the movie. So,
yeah. No, I agree. I felt like story-wise it was... Some people might say, I like the ambiguity of the 1974, not knowing much about Billy, never seeing him, stuff like that. This one's very forthright. You see Billy, you see everyone involved by the end, again, like Fuego, without spoiling. But I didn't mind that as much because they were leaning so much into the story and the kills and the gore of it all. And that was pleasing me as a horror fan. Like, this is really one of the gorier mid-2000s movies that came out in the horror genre.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate it for that. So story-wise, I was again, I know that the female characters were just cannon fodder. They weren't given nearly as much time as they were given in the 1974. I acknowledge that. But that's not what I was there for. You know, I'm there for a good slasher.
You were there to watch them die.
Same reason in 2019 why I was completely left in the cold, you know, in the snow. There was no good kills to lean on from the bad movie. This movie wasn't necessarily the best, but the kills were so much fun that it didn't matter. That overrode. I was like, oh, this is fun anyway. Even though the movie's not that fun, the kills are really fun, so I was on board.
Yeah.
So, acting-wise, again, there's some actresses that went on to do more things and be even bigger, but without the right story, like, they were fine. There was no one that drew me out of the movie, but none of them had that much to chew on. Do you know what I mean? So, like, none of them really blew me away, but none of them really took me out of the film, except for the Nemesis. I thought they were a little over the top at times, or he was a little over the top at times.
I was about to say, you
I thought
already used the
both of them
plural.
Careful. They don't know what I mean. Psycho situation.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like the main actors and actresses were actually really well done, but yeah, like you said, the antagonists were not as well done, and it did pull me out of any time that the antagonist was on screen. But when you didn't see them or him or
whatever it ends up being, again, Psycho situation possibly. We're not ruining anything.
You know, like the POV shots and when the kills and then the jump scares and all those things that worked. And I don't know. I had a fun time with it. Like, I like watching the cattiness of the girls. It felt a little bit more real, even though it was a lot more superficial, if that makes any sense.
Sure.
Yeah,
because they were more superficial on the top, but at the same time, you could tell, like, you didn't need to go deep, but you could tell the relationships were there.
You could tell who was who without them needing to go super deep.
And that's the thing, like, and I know this sounds bad, but like, okay, so really for both movies, I made this comment, and I'm like, you know, when you get a bunch of white bitches in a movie, it's sometimes hard to tell them apart.
That's racist. I'm just kidding.
Except for hair color, and they all had mostly the same hair color. So it was like,
yeah, there was a lot of blonde.
They do start to all look alike after a while.
But because I recognized who they were as actresses, I was able to separate them a little bit more.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Maybe
That's why I was like, oh, girl from Nightmare on Elm Street remake, girl from
Buffy.
Exactly, and Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Yeah, and plus, you know, they don't have a lot of story, so they don't have a lot of investment into it, so it's easily, you know, like it. I don't know, it's easy to.
Acting didn't strike home for you very much either, Fuego, then?
Well, I mean, the acting was solid. It's just, I don't feel like the script gave a lot for these girls, like Marcia was mentioning, to chew on and to actually do. You know, I felt like they made it impressive enough, you know, and I thought that, like, we've seen so much hammier acting at this point. The acting was not hammy in this, you know. This was very much in line in a lot of ways with what we saw from this remake crop of the mid-2000s. That included... A Hills Have Eyes, that included Piranha 3D, that included this and a couple others. And so, for that point, I don't think any of those movies were poorly acted. They all went for much more visceral gore. And so actors had more to react to in that regard. But it's... I don't know, it's a forgettable film, but it's one that I was impressed with for something of this decade where... You know, there's a lot of criticism for, bad remakes. Well, this is not that bad of a remake. It's actually fairly enjoyable for me. So,
agreed. Yeah. Effects. Let's talk about the effects, which is going to encompass both special makeup effects as well as gore effects. Now, the gore effects were all great. They were on point. They were fun. There was tons of gore in this. They leaned into it. But, dude, the jaundice yellow bastard was way too heavy.
You didn't even need to have that. Like, they could have taken the jaundice out
I don't remember Billy being jaundiced in the 1974.
No, they just wanted to use that as an excuse of why his mother didn't love him.
Honestly, I think it's to differentiate the white guy. Like you said, Marcia, it helps separate the whites from the whites.
He's yellow. So he's bad.
Yeah. Fair. Wait, what?
I know, that sounded really bad. He's a yellow Caucasian.
What are we driving at?
He's a yellow...
Marcia, wait, quit digging. Put the shovel down. Put the shovel down.
Yellow Caucasian.
Stop.
So, Fuego, effects for you.
They couldn't make him green. I don't know.
Well, but real quick, Marcia, gore effects.
No, I thought the gore effects were really well done.
Yeah.
There was a lot of
very reminiscent, in my opinion, of My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah.
From 2009, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. In like all aspects, and they were really creative on the different kills too. Like there was
unabashed.
There was one with the ice skate, which. The scene was ridiculous, but when he got her with the ice skate, I was like, "That's kind of."
And it just like splits her open,
shaved her head off. I thought, like part.
Oh
of her
no,
head.
I thought it split her open from the back.
Oh, I thought it's well. I don't
Either
know.
way, it was an effective gore effect.
I was impressed. I was all like, "Oh, that's cool. That's a one way to do it. I haven't seen that one yet." So.
Yeah, I just think back to the icicle callback, and just the. Okay, preemptively you see, and you're like, okay, that icicle has to fall through somebody's face. Like, come on, it has to transpire, and of course it does. And I thought the gore was gross in this movie to a degree, the same that we had in Piranha, especially.
Oh, I've already thought of our thumbnail, which is going to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm dangling.
Yeah, and just like seeing
balls.
the corpses with
Close
like
enough.
eyes removed and everything.
Balls.
I mean, that was something that just continually I found unsettling, and that's where they pushed the envelope in this in comparison with the original film. I thought was like making it gory and actually showing the nastiness of what's transpiring, as opposed to the like subtle suggestive aspect. That works, But sometimes it is good to just see how horrible it actually is. That frightens even more. It's a give or take, kind of situation, I suppose. But
a lot of heads rolling.
The gore is where the movie won me over. I'll be honest with you.
No,
I mean, it was so much.
It went for
it didn't like to me
really
as a
went for
gore hound. It made it so like the rest of the movie was like, okay, it didn't matter because there was so much gore coming at me. I was like, yes.
If they didn't go for it with the gore, then this movie would not be.
It would have been complete. It would have been
It would've been
2019.
so much more boring.
It was a complete bust without it. So. Yeah. And again, unfortunately for the movie, the sound design, it's more the sound design than the music. Like, I don't remember the music sticking out at all, but the sound design had to because it was a lot of gushes and squishes and grosses and all that stuff.
And then just the noises within the wall and upstairs and just the reactions of that was
There wasn't much by way of phone calls in this one, was there?
There was.
a couple.
There was a couple,
but it wasn't.
It wasn't the prominent.
The problem is
aspect
since
of
it was
plot.
a dual voice thing, and it ended up, having more of an explanation for that. You know what I mean? Like it didn't work as well.
Yeah.
To me.
So then, did you guys like that plot point of doubling down without like
doubling down without spoiling? Did you like the double down,
Marcia?
Marcia?
Double down?
No. It did explain some of the earlier kills.
Well, because they did it. They used a whole chunk of the movie to do the backstory for the double down.
Yeah.
So like it was imperative to the actual.
I kind
progression
of
of the plot.
I saw it coming.
Okay.
I saw that there was gonna. No, I did.
It's like pretty evident.
Yeah,
I'm not
because
disregarding her.
Yeah, and just early on because I'm like, well, this isn't making sense timeline wise and what they're showing me unless they're gonna come back and say some things happened before the evening happened, maybe. And then I started, and then you get the weird girl that came out and she's all like, gave that girl a unicorn, which I still don't understand that line when she was all like, I know you like the Bible, and I'm like, what is there a unicorn in the Bible?
I don't understand. I don't even remember that part. From
It threw me. It threw me.
Fair enough.
Obviously, it threw me because I still don't understand
Give us
why.
some context, guys, in the comments below.
I thought more was going to come from her, and then not much came from her either. So I don't know. I felt like there was going to be a twist. They're setting the ground for that. So it wasn't a surprise, but it was still it made the movie make sense to me. So I appreciated it.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's going to pretty much cover it for our thoughts on the 2006 remake of Black Xmas. This one's Black Xmas. The first one was Black Christmas. I'm going to Black Xmas all over his face.
The last one is Black Sivmas.
Yeah, the last one is just blackness. Terrible.
Hole.
So anyway, why don't you guys let us know in the comments down below, what do you think of the Black Xmas remake, and have you watched it recently?
Yes.
Or are you going based off, are you a lover of the original movie and then you watch the remake and you were like, oh, this sucks, and then you haven't watched it since? Or have you watched it since? Give us the context for your thoughts in the comments down below, but let us know.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
over a decade ago was when I last watched it.
Me too. So let us know what your guys' thoughts are, but that's going to do it for 3 people that had never seen the original that watched them both. We like the 2006 better. Take that or leave it. You know, if we lose subscribers over this, I apologize, but I guess it is what it is. Apologize. Let us know in the comments down below what your thoughts are. Thank you very much to our patrons for supporting the channel. The link to that is in the description box. If you become a patron, you can actually choose movies for us to review on a regular basis.
Tell us what to do.
Indeed. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button and subscribe to make sure you don't miss episodes going forward by dinging that notification bell. And until next time, remember, I've been Cecil Laird.
I'm Ruxpin.
Fuego.
And stay scared.